Hello guys, my name is David Wandu and you are welcome to today's KD session. Today I'll be talking about cross-platform mobile app development, and without further ado, let us jump in. So today we'll be looking at the approaches, different approaches to it, and also the frameworks that you can use. We'll be looking at the challenges in cross-platform development and also the benefit of cross-platform development. Now, the idea of cross-platform mobile app development is to develop multiple mobile applications that are suitable for multiple operating systems. Thus, it works similarly on all devices it is available for. So basically, you create one code base and you can have it run on different operating systems. Now, originally, it was the complexity of developing mobile app was compounded by the difficulty of building out a backend that worked across multiple platforms. So you had to build the native apps for each operating system. You have to build for iOS separately, you have to build for the Windows separately, and you have to build for the Android separately. So that was challenging, it was time consuming, and it was also expensive. And this brought about the idea of cross-platform mobile app development. Now, today's smartphones, they use different operating systems, allowing users to choose the platform that better caters to their needs and preferences. Now, to sell competitive apps and cover a maximum target audience. Now, the features of this popular operating system, such as the Android, the iOS, and Windows, have to be kept in mind. So, businesses opt to create cross-platform cross-platform mobile app development for this for their businesses, so that they can reach maximum audience and also reduce cost and save time on production and all that. So that is why this idea came into place, and that is why it is trending these days to just have an app that runs across multiple operating systems. Yes, so Android and iOS are the two main operating systems these days. If you're not using an Apple phone, you're using an Android phone. And those developers who build for Android are called Android developers, and the ones who build apps for iOS are called the iOS developers. And also the Windows, those who build for the Windows are called the Windows developer. So due to this variation in operating system, there was an issue of compatibility, because you can have an iOS app running on an Android phone. Likewise, you can have an Android app working on an iOS phone. So the developers came together and started to bring up this concept of cross-platform mobile app development. So where you create just one app or one code base, and you can build different apps that can work on different operating systems. Now we have different approaches to cross-platform mobile app development. We have the hybrid. This one wraps a basic code base and have it work on different platforms here, like the iOS and also the Windows. And it uses the HTML, the CSS, and the traditional JavaScript to build these applications. Now we have the rapid mobile app development, and developers use code-free programming tools. They use free programming tools to build this application, and they offer business users the ability to quickly build and manage good enough internet app to address specific business issues. So this model is usually used for businesses that to build apps for their own use, internal use, maybe to work with their staff to arrange their business and all that. So this model allows businesses to build internal apps for their own use. Now, the Windows Universal Apps is another approach to cross-platform mobile app development, and it allows one code base for all Windows devices. You can use the Xbox, the Windows, the AXE, the PC, tablet, smartphone. You just create one code base, and you can have apps that run across all Windows appliances or gadgets. We have the progressive web apps. These are websites that have become very interactive, and they also possess the mobile app features. So they are very interactive, and they act like mobile apps. So they are websites, web apps. That's what they call. So these are called progressive web apps. So let's take a quick look at, yes, you can see here we have the hybrid native applications, the cross-platform applications. So these are all the different types of software products that are used by smartphones. I'm sure every one of us probably have a native app on our phone, or an hybrid app, or a cross-platform app on the phone. You might not know this, but you have one on the phone right now. And you also use web applications too. Yes. So let's move on to the different frameworks that can be used to build a cross-platform app, mobile app. Here we have the React Native, we have Xamarin, we have Flutter, we have NativeScript, Corona Accelerator, Ionic, and also Apache Cordova. So we're looking at React Native first, and this was introduced by Facebook in 2015, and it has gone on to become one of the very popular mobile application frameworks in the world right now. And it is regularly updated by Facebook, and also it has a wide community, and also a lot of libraries that can be used to use specific features. And if you want to use React Native, the library is looking for you, you can go there and you can get multiple features that will better suit your app or the app that you're building. Now, another thing is code reusability. This feature and also the ready to apply elements considerably shorten the development time. So you can build your app in very little time compared to when you're building native apps. And also it allows the ready to apply elements. So you just put them in, you don't have to start creating each and every element yourself. And looking at Xamarin, this was created in 2011 by developers of Mono. And this is actually the oldest cross-platform framework in existence right now. But in 2016, it was bought out by Microsoft, and it was integrated into the .NET platform. Now, currently, it runs on the .NET platform, and it uses C# programming language, but it can connect the native code of iOS and Android to achieve even more robust performances and provide functionalities that are available specifically for them. Xamarin supports development for Apple Watches as well as variables based on Android, and its universal nature is what distinguishes it from other similar platforms. Now, looking at Flutter, it is a cross-platform framework, and it was developed by Google. It was first released in May 2017, and now it is one of the most popular development frameworks for cross-platform mobile apps. And it has the ability to create cross-platform applications using the single code base. There's a single code base. And also you can modify the user experience with this framework. Now, it is written in that language, not the normal JavaScript that other frameworks, that most frameworks use. And Flutter displays animations at 60 FPS as a standard. Now, it is an ideal framework for minimum viable products. So you want to launch a product into the market at the early stages. You want to probably use Flutter to develop that, the mobile app. You want to launch your app into the market, the minimum viable product. You want to use this Flutter to develop it because it's ideal for it. And instead of spending extra money and time on two separate apps, a Flutter mobile application that looks native on both Android and iOS can be built quickly. So you can have an app that works on iOS and also works on the Android OS. Now, looking at NativeScript, it is an open source framework, and it is used to develop cross-platform applications also. It was first released in March 2015. It was conceived and developed by Progress, the company, and at the end of 2019, it was taken over by NStudio. And from then on, it has gone to become one of the very popular frameworks for cross-platform mobile app development. Right now, it uses JavaScript. Yes, you can build using JavaScript or any other programming language that can be transferred to JavaScript, such as the TypeScript. And it also supports the Angular and Vue JavaScript frameworks. Now, the mobile application built with NativeScript results in fully native apps. They use the same API as if they were developed in Xcode, that's for iOS apps, or Android Studio for Android apps. So they are very close to native apps. They function as if they were native apps. So those are the apps that are built with NativeScript. So that's one of the advantages of NativeScript there. Now, another notable feature is the use of reflection to handle active API endpoints. So rather than requiring separate layers between the script and also the platform API, we just use reflection to gain information and metadata about the native platform APIs. And after that, if there's any update to these APIs, the native script will automatically update itself. And that's one of the best features about it. But the most fundamental feature of native script is that it converts different platform languages and APIs into JavaScript. It converts the Objective-C language of the iOS into JavaScript, and also converts the Java language of the Android APIs into JavaScript. So that's where it comes into play that they work as native apps at the end of the day. So the app developed in native script have the potential to work as native apps at the end of the day. Now we're looking at Corona SDK. Yeah, this is also a cross-platform mobile app development framework, but it's best suited for building 2D games and apps. This software development kit was launched by Corona Labs Incorporated in 2009, and it's using an easy-to-learn Lua scripting language. It has become one of the favorites for many 2D mobile game developers right now. As you can see here, it has more than 1,000 APIs and plugins. So there's a wide range of plugins that you can use to develop your mobile app. And also the platform enables the developer to save time by writing code based only once, which is applicable to other platforms, like I said. That's the whole essence of mobile app, cross-platform mobile app development. Having one code base and having it run on multiple OS. Now it has a community that shares information and knowledge and depth. And also it has around 247 studios around the world. So you can join any of your community if you are using Corona SDK, and you can get more information about this framework and more information and more knowledge and depth about how this framework works. It has an ability to call any native library. You can call any native C, C#, Java, Objective-C library, or use the API. Yes, so you can, that's one of the features of Corona SDK. Another feature is that it reflects its transparency in its real-time device testing. Now, this is a lot of time for developers, so that when you make changes to your app as you're building, you can see these changes in real time. So that's one of the advantages of using Corona SDK. So if you want to save time, you want to build an app, and you want to see the changes that you are implementing in your code base, you want to see them live, you can use Corona SDK so you can test your apps as we are building it. So that's one of the great advantages of Corona SDK. So the next one we're looking at is Accelerator. Titanium SDK Accelerator is an open source framework, yes, and it allows the creation of multiple mobile apps that can run on iOS, Android, and Windows from a single JavaScript code base. And this Titanium SDK was developed by Accelerator. Now, the few core features of Titanium SDK is the cross-platform API for accessing native UI components, such as the navigation bar, the menus, dialog, boxes, and native devices functionality, including the file system, network, the location, and many more. So what that does is that it has the ability to access this native component of your iOS or your Android or your Windows. So, and also in that way, they help the app to function as a native app. Also, it has a transparent access to native functionality covered by Hyperloop and native modules. Then the MVC-based framework Alloy is using an MVC, that's the model view and the controller framework. So that way you can build your app using that model too if you want to. Then all application source code gets deployed to the mobile device where it is interpreted using the JavaScript engine. Now, different, Different JavaScript engine is usually found in browsers. Yeah, so like your Mozilla Firefox and your Google Chrome. So they all have JavaScript engines. So this helps to interpret the source code of these mobile applications so they can run smoothly. Now, it also provides APIs for use of hardware-specific features such as the Android menu button, use of OS-specific controls such as the Cocoa UI controls on iOS, and also participation in the platform ecosystem. And that's, for example, using platform appropriate notification mechanisms. So that way, you the app will give notifications that are specific to that platform that you're using. If you're using an iOS, you'll be getting iOS notifications the way it is supposed to be on the iPhone or the Mac. And if you're using an Android, you'll get notifications the way it's supposed to be on the Android phone, on the OS. Now we're looking at Ionic now. It was created in 2013. Also, it's an open source SDK and it's used for building hybrid mobile applications. It's basically an APM module requiring Node.js. So you have to install Node.js before you can use Ionic. And it functions as part of JavaScript ecosystem. It's part of the large JavaScript ecosystem. So you can build a front end or you can build your mobile app using the HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and Angular, on Ionic. So it supports this JavaScript and Angular frameworks. And the first version of Ionic were based on Angular, which is a popular front-end framework. And also it is used to build dynamic web pages and progressive web applications. So here we have Angular, Ionic building hybrid mobile apps and also building progressive web applications. Now, Ionic also makes use of Apache Cordova plugins for accessing native functionality. And Apache Cordova provides Ionic apps with access to native APIs, serving as a bridge between the web view and the device operating system. So Apache Cordova is like a link between the Ionic and also the device OS. Now, Ionic Native is a set of Cordova plugins designed to support standard APIs and integration. So Ionic Native is available as a free set and a paid one. So you can get the Ionic Native either as a free set or you can go for the paid edition. And this will help you build apps that can interact with the native components of that operating system. Now, looking at Apache Cordova, this is the last but not the least on our list. Open source, yes, it is HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. It allows for app distribution via app stores and supports all the most popular OSs, that's your Windows, your Android, and also the iOS. And you can create universal software for mobile apps using Cordova. Now, it has extensive plugin choice, and you don't need to compare Yes, welcome back. Sorry for that break in transmission. We're talking about Apache Cordova. Like I said earlier, it is open source and it uses HTML, CSS, and JavaScript to build these mobile applications. And it allows for app distribution via app stores, so you can download these applications through your app stores. And it also supports all the most popular OSs, like I said, the Windows, the Android, and also the iOS. And it has extensive plugin. It is easy to learn, and also can be used with your favorite IDE. So you can use your Visual Studio Code, and any other IDE, Android Studio, anyone that you prefer to use. You can use it to build apps using Apache Cordova. Yes, and also performance of hybrid apps with Apache Cordova is relatively low, yes, compared to other frameworks that are out there, but it is still very effective and still very good to use. Looking at the challenges in cross-platform app development, we have performance hiccups because of inconsistent communication between the native and non-native component of gadgets. Yes, the main issue with this is that sometimes it's not easy for the the framework you're using might be lacking a few features to interact with the native apps. That's why we have various frameworks and they have various different advantages to them. So you want to pick one that's most stable for you. So that might be a challenge, the inconsistent communication between the native and non-native component of the gadget. And also the cross-platform developers have difficulty maintaining cross-compliance of apps across devices and operating systems. because each operating system have their own regulations, and you need to stick with the what's it called, the build model. Yes, and when you are building a cross-platform app, there isn't just one code base. Sometimes you might end up not meeting up with these standards of different operating systems. So that's one of the major challenges of it. And also the performance-related glitches can lead to poor user experience. And if a business app manages to part of a corporation and stores itself data, then going for cross-platform app is not always a good idea due to security concerns. Like I said, at the end of the day, you might not meet up with the standards of each operating system. So you might end up having, it's easier to have security breaches on these apps. That's one of the major challenges. But there are also ways around it to secure your data. We'll look at that probably next time. Now let's take a quick dive into the benefits of this cross-platform app development. Yeah, the maximum exposure to target audience. Yes, that is one of the very many advantages of it. You can reach a wide range of audience with just one app. Yes, you build one app and you deploy it on different platforms. So people who use the iOS platforms, they can get the app. People who use the Android, they can get the app. Who use the Windows app, and so on and so forth. So for all you just need is one code base and one app that you deploy. Now this allows you to reach a large number of people compared to when you just deploy an app for just one operating system. So you're just restricted to people on that operating system. But one, you use a cross-platform app, your clientele or your clients range increases. And also it reduces the development cost. Yeah, the cost of development of building multiple apps for each OS can be huge, and also the time used in building these applications also. So building one app and having it run on different platforms is cost effective. You spend less, and also it takes less time to build it. Then easier maintenance and deployments. You also have a quicker development process. Talk about the time. And also we have a reusable code. Yes, you can reuse the code on different apps or different platforms. So instead of developers developing new codes for each platform, they use that single code base. Yes, so just create the app once with your HTML, CSS, and JavaScript if the framework allows, and you can use that set of code to build each and every app for the various platforms that you are deploying it to. You don't need to start creating a new HTML, a new CSS, a new JavaScript code. Just use the same one that you have done, and you deploy the app to different platforms. And also easy integration with cloud. And so there's also the faster time to market and customization, and there's a uniform design. Yes, users can recognize the interface and also foresee interactions over various platforms. So the way it looks on the iOS usually is how it will look, or to have a similar look on the Android. Yes, the compatibility might be different, but it is usually the same look and everything. So the people get familiar with your application easily, and also user experience improves because of it is the same thing that is seen on different apps, and you can build on it easily. Yes. And the cross-platform mobile development tools allow developers and designers to build a uniform user experience that app users can enjoy. So everyone will share the same user experience when they are using the app, either on the iOS, on the Windows, or on the Android operating system. And that brings us to the end of today's session. I hope you learned a few things, and you can subscribe to the channel at Ping-Pong Dev Center. Also subscribe to my channel, David Iwandu. We hope to see you next time. I remain your own host, David Iwandu. Till next time. Thank you for joining.